Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Live When a Loved One Dies, a book by Thich Nhat. I'm going to read you guys this book, and together we're going to get over trauma. Are you ready? The book begins with a poem called Oneness. The moment I die, I will try to come back to you as quickly as possible. I promise it will not take long. Isn't it true? I am already with you. As I die each moment, I come back to you in every moment. Just look, feel my presence. If you want to cry, please cry. And I know that I will cry with you. And the tears you shed will heal us both. Your tears are mine. You read this when you were younger? I'm gonna change the alert notifications. Let's get something more peaceful. Let's set that up now. Because I'm not gonna be reading to a bunch of moon tiara action. So let's do the sound effects. And again one. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll make it like a little singing bowl sound for now. And that way it's peaceful. What happened, Pankiki? I love you too, Eli. And then let me change my alerts real quick. We'll change that too. Yeah, I can't have Centurias happening in the middle of it either. Gonna upload the sound effect. Thank you, Jacob, for the ice cream cone. Oh no, it's gonna take a minute for it to get reviewed. Let's see how fast I can get this fixed. I love you too, Chiefy. Alright, Pankiki. There we go, I think it's ready. singing bell is available. There we go. That won't be as loud and frustrating every time someone follows or sends a gift. Alright. Let's get to the very beginning. The first section is called grief. Our loved ones are in us, and we are in them. When a loved one dies, a part of us also dies. Sometimes we think that our loss is so great that we will never be able to be happy again. When we lose a loved one, our heart is filled with a deep suffering that we cannot express. But we can express our pain in tears. We can cry. When you cry, you feel better. Men can cry too. I wanted to cry when I saw someone else crying. It is human nature to cry. To be able to cry brings comfort, relief, and healing. If you want to cry, please cry and know that I will cry with you. The tears you shed will heal us both. Your tears are mine. I stamped my feet and cried the moment Mother died. That morning was a beautiful, rosy morning, but at midnight, the wind blew hard. So they kind of just littered some haikus in here, I believe, throughout. When a painful emotion comes up, stop whatever you're doing and take care of it right away. Bring your attention home to what is happening in your body. The practice is simple. Put your hand on your belly and feel the movement of your breathing. Bring all your awareness down from your head to your navel and stop thinking about what has upset you. In a storm, the leaves and branches at the top of the tree thrash about wildly. The tree looks so fragile and vulnerable, as though it could break at any moment. But when you bring your attention down to the trunk of the tree, you see the trunk is very calm and still. You are no longer afraid because you realize the tree is strong and stable, that is deeply rooted in the soil and can withstand a storm. A strong emotion is like a storm, but if we know how to practice, we can survive a storm. When we are caught in a storm of strong emotions, we need to identify what is causing our emotional response and gently disengage ourselves from it straight away. Whether it is a thought, an image, a sound, a smell, a touch, or a person speaking, we turn our attention away from it for a moment and bring all of our attention back to our breathing. If we continue to pay attention or to think about what is causing us to suffer, it will only increase our strong emotions. So, we practice deep belly breathing, whether standing, sitting, or lying down. We become aware of our breathing. If our breathing is rapid and shallow, we notice it, and shift our attention from our throat and chest down to our belly and focus on the rising and falling of our abdomen. The practice is simple. Breathing in, I am aware of my abdomen rising. Breathing out, I am aware of my abdomen falling. Gradually, the storm will subside, our breathing and our heart will calm down, and we will feel more at peace. So, chat. Let's all take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. How did that feel, chat? When you are suffering greatly, if you have to suffer a profound loss, you need people who are able to just sit and listen to you with compassion. But what is even more important is that we can listen to ourselves with compassion. To do this, we need to learn the art of deep listening, to stop whatever we're doing and come home to ourselves. We look deeply to recognize and name our suffering and embrace it tenderly. Listening deeply to our own suffering is an act of self-compassion. When we lose a loved one, especially if it was a sudden and unexpected, we may feel like we have lost the ground under our feet. It takes our breath away. The first thing to do is regain our footing. The practice of conscious breathing can help us come back to the present moment and come back into the body. How to calm a racing heart and erratic breathing is actually very simple. We bring all our awareness back to our breath and focus exclusively on our breathing. We stop thinking about anything else and follow the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Continue to follow your breathing. Feel the cool air entering your body and notice that it is warmer when it leaves. We become aware of which parts of the body are moving as we breathe in and out, and we focus on the rising and falling of the abdomen. When we maintain awareness of our breath, our breathing naturally becomes lighter, calmer, and more peaceful. Gradually, the storm subsides, and our mind and body calm down. Your breath is your life raft in a stormy ocean, the anchor keeping you in your body. Follow your breath and notice what is happening in your body. Feel your abdomen rising and falling. When we are very upset, our breathing may be fast and shallow and our chest may heave. Just focus on these bodily sensations. Become aware of any constrictions in the body, any tightness or pain, and do your best to breathe into those places and release the tension. Keep your awareness on your bodily sensations and the flow of your breathing. Do not try to change or force anything. Just become aware of what is happening. Your breathing will naturally start to calm down and your mind and body will begin to relax and calm down as well. Wherever we are, we can practice conscious breathing, whether we're sitting, walking, standing, or lying down. Just following your breathing can already bring a lot of peace and relief. Whenever we become overwhelmed with grief, despair, or sorrow, our breathing is the stable, solid ground that we can take refuge in. To help us stay focused on our breathing, with each in and out breath, we may like to say silently, breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. In, out. Gently follow your in and out breath with concentration and awareness all the way through, from the beginning to the end. Don't force or try to change your breathing, just observe and follow it. If your mind wanders off, gently invite it back to follow your breathing again. Our breathing will naturally calm down and become a little slower and deeper. Breathing in, I follow my in breath all the way through. Breathing out, I follow my out breath all the way through. Following my in breath, following my out breath. Maintain your concentration as long as possible. Awareness of your breathing brings your mind back to your body and back to the present moment. Become aware of your body. Remember that you have a body. Release any tension in your face, your shoulders, your diaphragm, and allow your body to relax. This is the first step to restoring wellness. Thank you, Alice. Put your hands on your abdomen and feel it rising and falling. Now, as you follow your breath, you can say to yourself, breathing in, I become aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I relax all the muscles in my body. Aware of body, relaxing body. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Calm, smile. A gentle half smile will release all the muscles in your face. If we can smile to our suffering, we can already feel some relief. We do not need to wait until we feel like smiling in order to smile. Sometimes we feel good and we smile, but sometimes we smile and this makes us feel better. Neuroscience research now shows this is so. A smile says this is not the end of the world, even if it feels like it. If it is easier, you may like to simply repeat short words for each in and out breath, anchoring your awareness with these keywords or other words of your choosing. In, out. Deep, slow. Calm, ease. Smile, release. Keep breathing with these words. Notice that your out breath is often longer than your in breath. Savor the pause at the end of your out breath. Relax and allow all the tension in your body to slowly dissipate. When we find it difficult to come back to our breathing and calm our strong emotions, going out for a walk can help. We walk in mindfulness, aware of what is happening inside and around us. In this way, we come home and take refuge in the present moment and in nature. As we walk, we let go of our regrets about the past and our worries about the future, and remain fully established in the here and now. We let ourselves be nourished by the earth, the sky, the fresh air, and the sun. We walk and allow our mind to rest. We dwell peacefully in the here and now and let nature heal us. Walk as a free person. Bring your awareness down to your feet. Don't stay in your head. Feel the contact between your foot and the ground. Walking meditation brings the body and mind together and restores peace. We bring our mind back to the present moment with each step. Walk in peace with self-sovereignty. Let go of sadness and worries and release them to the earth. When these feelings resurface, just say hello and goodbye to them. Don't force yourself not to feel sad. Just recognize a feeling and gently let it go. Come back to your breathing and your steps. In walking meditation, we combine our breathing with our steps. While breathing in, we may take 2 or 3 steps. As we breathe out, we may want to take a few more steps. Let the rhythm of your breathing and the walking be natural, whatever fits your own breath. We can use words to help us coordinate our steps and our breath. As we breathe in and take 2 or 3 steps, we can say, I have arrived. As we breathe out, we can say, I am home. With every step, we really arrive. We're really at home. We arrive in the present moment. We don't lose ourselves to the past or the future. We feel safe, peaceful, and at ease when we are fully established in the present moment. You can also say, with every step, I return to my source. We can use whatever words or sentences we like. When we do walking meditation, our body and mind are united. Walking meditation is a wonderful practice that can help us return to ourselves and find healing from Mother Earth. In times of stress and grief, walking meditation is a wonderful way to reestablish peace and calm in the body and mind. Spending time walking in nature every day helps reconnect us with our body, the earth, and the wonders of life. Nature has the capacity to embrace our pain and transform it. We do not walk with the aim of getting anywhere. We just walk for the pure joy of walking. We enjoy every step we make, savoring our breath and releasing our pain and sorrow to the earth. Every step brings us home to the present moment, the only place where life is possible. We become aware of our breathing and the contact of our feet on the earth. We feel the warmth of the sun on our face and the breeze on our skin. We become aware of the sound of the birds and the fragrance of the trees and the flowers around us. We enjoy every step, and with each step, we make an imprint of peace on the earth. We can practice in a park or some other beautiful, quiet place. This nourishes our spirit, strengthens our mindfulness, and helps us heal. When we walk, we can take the hand of our loved one who has passed away and walk with them. Our legs are their legs, our eyes are their eyes. When we see something beautiful, the blue sky, a brilliant sunset, a majestic tree, or an animal, we can stop walking to allow this sight to penetrate our consciousness and nourish us deeply. We allow this beauty not only to nourish us, but to nourish our loved one in us. We enjoy everything, not only for ourselves, but also for our loved one who has died. Thank you, Jason. Make gentle steps. Imagine you're kissing the earth with your feet. Bring your awareness down to the soles of your feet and feel the contact of your feet and the earth. Let the earth support you. Really arrive with each step. If you have not arrived yet, stop walking until you are fully present. Coordinate your breath and your steps so that there is communication between them. You may like to count your steps as you breathe, depending on the length of your breath. 2 or 3 steps for an in-breath, 3 or 4 steps on the out-breath. say a small poem to help you focus. Depending on the pace of your steps and your breathing, one word or phrase can accompany one step. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. When life seems like a turbulent ocean, we can remember we have an island of peace inside. Everything is impermanent, coming and going. Love and hate, birth and death. Everything is always in the process of changing. Dwelling in the island of self, you are safe. Take refuge in your own island. Breathing in, make 2 steps and say, taking refuge. Breathing out, make 2 to 3 steps and say, in the island of self. Breathing in, I go back to the island within myself. There are beautiful trees within the island. There are clear streams of water. There are birds, sunshine, and fresh air. Breathing out, I feel safe. I enjoy going back to my island. There are times when our suffering is so great, it needs more than just one person to hold it. When suffering threatens to overwhelm us, we can call on the support of others. A group of people who practice mindfulness together can provide such support. The collective energy of mindfulness generated by the group has the power to hold us and our pain. The practice of deep listening and loving speech can offer relief. Practicing sitting and walking meditation together, touching the earth with our feet, can be very healing. We allow the collective energy of mindfulness to recognize and embrace our pain. It can be a heavy burden to carry pain alone, so we entrust it to the group. Dear friends, here is my pain, here is my sorrow, here is my despair. Please help me acknowledge it. Please hold it for me. We become a drop of water flowing in the river of awakened energy, and we feel much better. The collective energy of mindfulness is transformative, powerful, and healing. Peace is all around us, in the world and in nature. Peace is also within us, in our bodies and mind. The act of walking waters the seeds of peace that are already there inside us. Our mindful steps help us cultivate the habit of touching peace in each moment. The mind can go in 1,000 directions, but on this beautiful path, I walk in peace. With each step, a gentle wind blows. With each step, a flower blooms. The next section of the book is called Surviving Our Strong Emotions. Feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. Healing begins when we breathe in. There is no way to healing. Healing is the way. When we breathe in mindfully, we bring our mind home to our body, uniting body and mind, and the mind stops racing. Sometimes just one breath is all it takes. We are more than our emotions. Right now, you may find life unbearable, yet everything is impermanent. Our emotions are impermanent. They come and they go. This insight can save your life. An emotion comes, stays for a while, and then it goes. This is the nature of all phenomena. You are so much more than your emotions. You are your body, your feelings, your perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. You are your actions of body, speech, and mind. You are your aspirations, your capacity to love and understand. You are connected with all of life. The territory of your being is infinite. Focusing our attention on the rising and falling of our abdomen as we breathe deeply, our emotions will no longer overwhelm us or push us to do something destructive. When you survive a strong emotion once, you have the confidence that you can do the same thing again next time. Going home to nature. The earth is our home. She is our true mother. In times of grief and loss, we can return to the earth who gave birth to us. The earth can embrace us in all our sadness and despair. She is always ready to receive you. Her arms are always open for you. Nature invites you to dive into her lap. Fall into her loving embrace and surrender yourself. Release your suffering. The relief that we seek is right under our feet and all around us. Each mindful step on earth can heal us. When we are feeling fragile and unstable, we can come home and take refuge in the earth. With each step, we feel her solidity beneath our feet. When we're truly in touch with the earth, we can feel her endless compassion, her stability and non-discrimination, and her healing embrace. We go back to the earth and surrender ourselves to her. When we know how to go back to Mother Earth, we feel nourished and regain our peace. Mother Earth has the power to nourish us, hold our suffering, and heal us. When we reconnect with her solidity beneath our feet, we can experience deep healing. We rejoice in her majesty, in her high mountain peaks and lakes, in the vast blue sky, winding rivers, and deep oceans. The sun embraces and caresses us every day, lighting up our days, months, years, bringing light into our lives. When we can come back to ourselves and take refuge in our inner island, we become a home for ourselves, and we become a refuge for others at the same time. Walking with 100% of your body and mind can free you from anger, fear, and despair. Each step can express your love for the earth and for yourself. While walking, you can say, with each step, I come home to the earth. With each step, I return to my source. With each step, I take refuge in Mother Earth. Calming our painful feelings. In the same way that we practice calming our breathing and our body, we can practice calming our feelings. Come back to your breathing, recognize, embrace, and calm your painful feelings of sadness, grief, and loss. That is a practice. Not to push them away, but to identify, name, and embrace our feelings tenderly, as a mother would embrace her crying baby. Identifying and naming our painful feelings reduces their power over us. It is important to know what we are feeling. Our peaceful breathing and compassionate embrace will calm these strong emotions and allow them to transform naturally. If we are lucky enough to be in an environment where there are other people practicing mindfulness, we can benefit from the collective energy of mindfulness. What is stopping us from feeling joy in the present moment? What is the true nature of our suffering? We can learn to call all our feelings by their true names. Self-care, embracing and calming our painful feelings. Find a quiet place to sit and follow your breathing. Use these prompts to help guide you. Each line of the guided meditation is going to accompany your in-breath and out-breath respectively. After each line, you may like to close your eyes and enjoy a few breaths in and a few out-breaths, holding the key words in your heart. The first key phrase accompanies the in-breath. The second key phrase accompanies the out-breath. Aware of the state of my mind, I breathe in. Smiling to the state of my mind, I breathe out. Aware of my mind, smiling. I'm going to skip past some of these exercises and come back to them later. When you're overwhelmed by strong emotions like grief, sorrow, anger, or despair, you can practice with guided meditations like these to help you calm down and find relief. When we recognize, name, and embrace our difficult emotions, they calm down naturally and give space to something else. When we are overwhelmed by grief, if we let the suffering come up and take over our mind, we can quickly be overwhelmed by it. So we invite another energy to come up at the same time, the energy of mindfulness. With the energy of mindfulness, we can recognize our pain and embrace it tenderly like a mother whose baby is crying. When a baby cries, the mother stops everything she is doing and holds the baby tenderly in her arms. The energy of the mother will penetrate into the baby and the baby will feel relief. The function of mindfulness is first to recognize the suffering that's there, and then to take care of the suffering by identifying and embracing it. It is important that we are able to name what we are feeling, to identify what is making us suffer so that transformation, peace, and joy can be possible. And we can embrace our sorrow and pain, our anger and fear. With the energy of mindfulness, we'll be able to recognize the roots of our suffering, and we'll be able to recognize the suffering people we love as well. Mindfulness can heal us and transform our grief and sorrow. It is the energy that helps us know what is happening in the present moment, within us and around us. It is possible to change our life with the practice of mindful breathing, sitting, and walking. If we can manage to be mindful while doing these basic things, then we'll more easily be able to handle our painful feelings and emotions when they arise. Practicing mindfulness, we start to become more aware of our pain. However, we may not yet be strong enough to transform it. To have the strength to fully face and embrace our pain, it is important that we stay in touch with the many wonderful and refreshing things that are both inside us and all around us. The trees, the blue sky, the eyes of a child, the setting sun. We need to have a solid foundation in order to be strong enough to bear our suffering. When we are calm and stable, when we have cultivated enough peace and joy, then we can bear to look at our suffering. Just as a surgeon may judge a patient too weak to undergo surgery and recommend that the patient first get some rest and nourishment to build up their strength so they can survive the surgery, we need to strengthen our foundation of joy and happiness before focusing on our suffering. The mind is like the earth. Seeds of all kinds lie deep in the earth. We all have many kinds of seeds lying in the depths of our consciousness, wholesome and unwholesome seeds. When the seeds are watered, they sprout and manifest in mind consciousness as mental formations. In our own consciousness, there is heaven, but there is also hell. We are all capable of being happy, compassionate, and understanding, but if we only focus on negative things within us, especially our sadness, our pain, and suffering, this will water our seeds of sorrow, despair, and helplessness. These seeds will then sprout and grow big and strong and become stronger at the base. So what we choose to water is important. We need positive nourishment in order to grow our happiness. Practicing appropriate attention, we are selective in what we water. We water the wholesome qualities in us by getting in touch with what is positive within us and around us. This is how we touch the wonders of life that are always available to us. One way of taking care of our suffering is to invite a seed of the opposite nature to come up. Nothing exists without its opposite. So if you have seeds of despair, you also have seeds of hope. If you have seeds of depression, you also have seeds of joy and vitality. When a negative seed, like despair, is watered, we can invite the seed of mindfulness to come up and embrace it, to help us recognize what we are feeling. If we feel lonely, we know we are feeling lonely. We can name it. Naming our feelings has an immediate impact on them, weakening the power of the negative seeds and strengthening the positive seeds at the base. Everyone has the seed of compassion. If you practice mindfulness of compassion every day, the seed of compassion in you will become strong and will become a powerful source of energy. The more we cultivate peace, joy, and happiness within us, our sadness and despair will naturally decrease. We don't have to fight or push anything down. We just try to selectively water the good seeds and refrain from watering the negative seeds. This doesn't mean we ignore our suffering. It means we allow the positive seeds that are naturally there to receive attention and nourishment so they can sprout and grow and bring forth beautiful flowers. Hi, Kyle. Hey, Samus. Hey, Ashes. Hey, Tony. Hey, Bones. Hey, other Tony. How you guys doing? When we are overwhelmed by our suffering, the first thing to do is to stop what we are doing. Bring our attention to our breathing and follow it with our awareness. Don't try to ignore or repress uncomfortable emotions. Follow your breathing until you start to calm down. This is the way to practice stopping and looking deeply. The true wings of meditation. We stop everything and come back to our breathing so we can look deeply to recognize and take care of what is there. Love you guys too. To release some of the pain and tension in the body and mind, we can stop for a few moments at regular intervals throughout the day. No matter how busy our day is or how good or bad we're feeling, we could try to take a few seconds or a few minutes to stop, to breathe, to rest, to relax, and to heal. This will prevent stress and tension from accumulating in our body and mind and will allow the body to restore itself. When we stop and come back to our body, we are able to get in touch with what is positive. We can touch the wonders of life that are available to us in every instant. We can feel peaceful and we can see things with more clarity. When we stop, we can touch peace and joy and smile again. The body and the mind are two sides of one reality. When our mind is too tense and filled with many worries, it will affect our body. So we practice stopping. We stop running, and with every breath we take, with every step we make, we bring our mind back to our body and to the present moment. Walk so that you enjoy every step. Really enjoy every step, and let go of your sadness, worries, and anxiety. When these feelings reappear, just say hello and goodbye. We don't need to force ourselves, or struggle, or feel bad. We just recognize the feelings and let them go, gently. Each time one of these painful feelings come back, we just wave and say hello and goodbye again. Hello, my sadness, my despair. I know you are there. Goodbye, my sadness, my despair. Slowly, we become more relaxed, and over time, healing takes place. Love and understanding are the lotuses that bloom from the mud of suffering. Without the mud, there is no lotus flower. The lotus needs mud to grow. Understanding and compassion are only possible when we've come in touch with suffering. We know that suffering plays an important role in generating and understanding love, so we do not run away from suffering. Instead, we embrace it and look deeply into our suffering in order to understand it. If we can understand, then we can love. And when we have understanding and love, we suffer less. Hello, Mono. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. We all need a quiet place to retreat to and simply be. But especially in times of crisis or turmoil, we need a safe haven where we can sit and follow our breathing. Find or create a quiet space in your home where you can sit in peace and not be disturbed. You might like to set up a little altar or shrine with flowers, incense, and a candle to help create meditative and peaceful atmospheres. Your space should be a welcoming haven with soothing images, scents, and sounds. Come back to this quiet place whenever you need it. Sitting meditation is not difficult. It is not hard labor. Many people think sitting meditation is for the spiritually adept or for people who are supple in their bodies, but in fact, nothing extraordinary is about sitting meditation. Anyone can do it. All you need to do is find a quiet place and sit down. Meditation is the art of stopping our racing mind and looking deeply into things. Sitting meditation is a quick and effective way to practice stopping. We stop speaking and moving and allow our body and mind to calm down. It only takes a few minutes, not long at all. We don't allow ourselves to be carried away by our regrets about the past or worries about the future. We come back to the present moment where we are safe, where we can touch true peace. Life is available to us only in the present moment. And if we are not present, we miss out on life. Stopping and sitting, following our breathing, is the way home. When we have brought our mind back to our body and established peace and calm, we can find relief. When we are calm, things look differently. We can see everything more clearly. Imagine a glass of freshly pressed orange juice. At first it is very cloudy, we cannot see through it. But if we leave it to stand for a while, the pulp settles and the juice becomes clear. After a while of sitting meditation, the juice looks like water, completely transparent. The same thing happens to our mind. When we sit and follow our breathing, everything settles and calms down, and we gain more clarity. We see things in a different light. Looking deeply with mindfulness and concentration gives rise to insight. With insight comes transformation and healing. How to sit. You can either sit on the ground or in a chair. Sitting on the floor can help ground us and get our mind out of our head and back into the body. Sit cross-legged on a cushion or in the Japanese style, using a small bench or firm cushion between your heels for support. Find a comfortable position with your back upright, but not rigid, your shoulders relaxed, and your hands resting gently in your lap. Sit on the front edge of the cushion or chair so your spine is straight and relaxed. If your legs are crossed, make sure both knees are touching the floor so that your posture is stable, and you do not need to make any effort to stay upright. If you are sitting on a chair, be sure your feet are flat on the floor or supported by a cushion or footrest. Bring your awareness to your in-breath and out-breath. Your breathing will naturally become deeper, slower, and more peaceful. It should feel very pleasant. Simply sitting and calming our body can bring a feeling of ease and well-being. Sit solely for the joy and nourishment of sitting. Let go of your thinking and just follow your breathing. Now bring your awareness to your body, relaxing your body and releasing any tension you may be holding. Breathing mindfully brings your mind home to your body. Your body is a miracle. When you can touch the wonder of your body, healing begins straight away. When you unite body and mind in the present moment, you touch true peace. Sitting for the sake of sitting is an act of compassion we offer ourselves. Thank you, Timmy. Self-care is seeing your loved one within you. When someone we love passes away, we may suddenly feel abandoned or alone, and may believe that we have lost them forever. We may experience anguish and feel disconnected from them. However, when we reconnect with ourselves, we reconnect with our loved one, with our ancestors, and with our whole stream of life. When we come home to ourselves, we can touch our loved one within us. Our parents are our closest ancestors. We know that, genetically speaking, all of our ancestors are still alive in each of our cells. They have not died, but not only do we carry their genes, we also carry all their thoughts, beliefs, experiences, and aspirations within us. We carry their actions of body, speech, and mind into the future. You cannot take your loved one out of you. Just as you cannot take your father or your mother out of you, even if you wanted to. Everything is in everything else. With the insight of interconnectedness or interbeing, you understand that you are your father, you are your mother. If you are angry with your father or your mother, you are angry with yourself. Likewise, if you are angry with your children, you are angry with yourself. Our children are the continuation, and they carry us into the future. The same is true with our loved one. Even if we are not related biologically, they are in us and it is impossible to take them out. All our shared experiences and everything they have ever thought, said, or done lives on within us and cannot be undone or taken out of us. To reconnect with them, we only need to go inward and reconnect with ourselves. This short guided meditation can help us visualize the reality of our loved ones within us. We can also substitute with the words mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, and all my ancestors in order to feel the connection to all our ancestors in us and receive their energy and support. Breathing in, I see the presence of my beloved in every cell of my body. Breathing out, I smile to my beloved in every cell of my body. My beloved in every cell, smiling. Breathing in, my loved one is breathing in with me. Breathing out, my loved one is breathing out with me. Breathing in, I see I am part of the wonderful river of life, flowing continuously for thousands of years. Breathing out, I smile and entrust myself to this river of life. River of life, entrusting myself. Thank you, little liquid. The past is not truly gone. It is still here, and we can touch it. We may have regrets about the past and believe we cannot go back and fix our mistakes. In fact, touching the present moment, we can still touch the pain, the wounds of the past. We may think that those who have passed away are no longer here, our loved ones, family members, ancestors, or friends. But if we know how to touch the present moment deeply, we discover that they are all still there, alive within us, and we can still speak to them. For example, looking deeply with the eyes of interbeing, I see that my mother is still alive within me. I am her continuation. I am my mother, and my mother is in myself. It is possible to heal the wounds of the past right in the present moment. It is possible to apologize and express regret even if the person is no longer here. Mother, I am sorry. I was unskillful and I know I hurt you. I will not say something like that again. Please forgive me. When my mother in me hears these words of reconciliation, she smiles and my wounds begin to heal. You can heal the wounds of the past by touching the present moment. This is the miracle of mindfulness. Thank you, G. Do not be afraid of your painful feelings and difficult emotions. If we try to repress our painful feelings, we create a lack of circulation in our psyche, which can lead to depression or other psychological problems. Just as the body needs good circulation of the blood to remain healthy, we also need good psychological circulation. We need to allow our feelings and emotions to circulate. If suffering comes up, we embrace it with our mindfulness. We don't try to push it away. Mindfulness is the blood of our psyche. Like the blood in the body, it has the power to eliminate toxins and heal our pain. Every time our pain is embraced by mindfulness, it loses some of its strength. It becomes weaker each time. In that way, we create good circulation in our psyche. When mindfulness circulates in our consciousness, we begin to experience well-being. We needn't be afraid of our pain when we know that our mindfulness is also there, ready to embrace and transform it. Thanks again, G. The way out is in. To understand our suffering and our difficulties, we need to be there for ourselves. We need to come home and look inward. The first thing we should do is recognize and admit that we are suffering. If we can acknowledge that we're suffering, we have a chance to transform that suffering. The second step is to have the courage to look deeply into our suffering, to listen to it, embrace it, and understand its nature. Many of us do everything we can to avoid going back to ourselves because we're afraid that if we come home and touch the suffering inside, it will overwhelm us. That's why we need to train ourselves in the practice of mindfulness. Practicing mindful breathing, sitting, and walking allows us to generate an energy that can help us be stronger. Looking deeply, we have a chance to understand our suffering and see the way out. We go inward and take care of our painful feelings and emotions to make transformation possible. The way out is in. And when we understand our suffering, it transforms and we feel renewed. Thank you, Nightly Jester, for the crown. One helpful way to reduce our stress, pain, anxiety is to stop and breathe for at least 3 breaths every time we hear a mindfulness bell. In monastery or in practice centers, bells are invited to sound many times a day before, after, and sometimes during every activity. And in the world too, there are so many bells in our daily life. The telephone, a text message or notification, an alarm, a siren. These are all bells of mindfulness. The sound of the bell is our friend, reminding us to stop what we're doing and come home to ourselves in the present moment. Whenever we hear a bell, we stop everything, both physically and mentally. We stop being carried away by our thinking and our worries, and we come back to focus on our breathing. We follow the breath as it goes in and out of the body for at least 3 full in and out breaths. This is so soothing. We bring our awareness back to our body and release any tension we are holding in the body. We do the same thing with our mind. We become aware of what we are thinking and how we are feeling. We practice mere recognition, making a note of our thoughts and feelings and then just letting them go. This practice is very easy and brings instant relief and calm. When we practice this throughout the day, it strengthens our mindfulness muscle and helps us remain calm in even difficult situations. We can make good use of many different bells. Meditation bells, church bells, a clock chiming, even a red light in traffic can be a bell of mindfulness, calling us back to our true home. Be creative. Find your own bells of mindfulness and make a commitment to stop whenever you hear them. You might like to download a mindfulness bell into your computer or phone and program it to sound at regular intervals. Then each time you hear it, take a break from whatever you're doing. Stop, breathe, relax, let go. This is a precious opportunity to reset the counter to 0, to touch a moment of peace and be fully alive. As you listen, you can say, "Listen, listen. This wonderful sound brings me back to my true home." Call your emotion by its true name. The mind is like a river, and the mental formations, our feelings and emotions, are drops of water in succession, forming a stream. To meditate is to sit by the river of the mind and recognize every mental formation as it arises. We do not attempt to fight or grasp on the anything. We just allow the mental formation to be there and to recognize it, name it. This way it will calm down naturally. With the practice of mindful breathing and walking, we can generate enough energy of mindfulness to allow us to come home to ourselves without fear. We do not risk being overwhelmed by our painful feelings and emotions. With the energy of mindfulness, we can recognize them, smile to them, and say, "Hello, my pain, my loneliness, my sorrow. I know you are there, and I will take good care of you. Hello, my anger, my sadness, my fear. I am not running away from you anymore. I am determined to take good care of you." We may like to write down a list of feelings and emotions so that we can recognize them easily and call them by their true names. Knowing how to handle a painful feeling, a painful emotion, is key. It is possible to transform our feelings of anger or sorrow into understanding, acceptance, and compassion. With the practice of mindfulness, we can learn how to generate a feeling of joy and happiness, gladdening the mind and creating a beautiful inner landscape. Here too is the helpful to name our feelings. Hello, my joy, my peace, my happiness. I know you are there. I am so happy. The second arrow of suffering. When an arrow strikes you, you feel an intense pain, but if a second arrow strikes you in the same spot, the pain you feel is not double, but 10 times worse. Losing someone you love is the first arrow. You feel the acute pain of loss and sorrow, but worrying, being anxious, or succumbing to despair are like the second arrow. When you are in pain, breathe in and out and recognize the pain, but don't exaggerate it. Don't allow the second arrow to strike. Our guilt, remorse, and regrets are the second arrows we often fire at ourselves. If we have said something unkind to someone who has passed away, such as our grandma, we can begin anew. We just sit down, practice mindful breathing in and out, and we ask our grandma to be there with us. We smile at her and sincerely say, "Grandma, I'm sorry. I will not say something like that again." Sorry. And we'll see our grandma smiling. This practice will bring us peace. It will renew us and will bring a lot of joy and happiness to the people around us and to future generations. Guilt, regret, and remorse can cause us unbearable suffering long after a loved one has died. Sometimes we carry these feelings with us for many years and suffer deeply each time we think of what we regret. We may regret some things we said that were not very kind or loving. We may also regret some things we said that were not... Sorry, guys. We may also regret some things we didn't say to the person we loved before they died. We may feel remorse for past actions that hurt them or regret that we neglected to do something important that we now wish we had. Often we regret that we weren't kinder to our loved one during their lifetime, or we didn't show them enough how much we loved them. Now we may feel it's too late, but we don't need to feel that kind of regret. Our loved ones live on in us and we can speak to them whenever we want. We can apologize for our unskillfulness and ask for forgiveness. We can smile to them and say the things we should have said, but didn't have the chance to say. Say it right now and they will hear it. We can begin anew with our loved one even after they have died. The gift of forgiveness. But when we lose someone we love, we often feel burdened by guilt, especially if they died suddenly and we didn't have time to say goodbye. If our loved one died in an accident, or their pain and suffering was so intolerable that they took their own life, we may feel unbearable grief and remorse. Could I have prevented this? Why wasn't I there for them more? How can I forgive myself for the pain I caused? How can I apologize and ask for forgiveness when my loved one is no longer here? These are the kinds of questions people often ask when they have lost someone they love. We may cry and scream, throw ourselves on the floor, beat ourselves when another person dies because we remember that When they were alive, there were times when we did not treat them well. The complex of guilt causes us intense suffering. It is so difficult to admit that we were so busy, that we weren't there for a loved one, that we didn't understand their suffering enough. We need to know that everyone makes mistakes and is unskillful at times, but we can learn from our mistakes. The practice of mindfulness can transform the past, and the insight of impermanence can help liberate us. With this insight, we do whatever we can today to make our loved ones happy. We don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow may be too late. We also cultivate compassion for ourselves, forgive ourselves, and vow that from now on we will do better. If we know how to do better, we suffer less right away. We don't suffer for the feeling of guilt anymore. We can begin to speak frankly and openly about death. The death of our father, the death of our son, of our partner, of our sibling. This is an opportunity for us to learn to live differently. We can no longer help our loved ones who have died, but there are so many people alive that we can help today. Thanks, G. The fact is that we can liberate ourselves from the prison of the past. We can make a strong determination, a strong aspiration to go out and help others, to help people in need, help the poor, the sick, the elderly, the homeless people, those who have been abused. Helping others, we heal ourselves. I walk for you. Many of my ancestors and many friends from my generation have already passed away. A good friend of mine is in a wheelchair and can't walk. Another friend has such pain in his knees that he can't walk up and down stairs. So I walk for them. When I breathe in, I say to myself, it's wonderful that I'm still able to walk like this. With that awareness, I can enjoy every step. I say, breathing in, I know I am alive. Breathing out, I smile to life. Mindfulness reminds me to notice and enjoy that my body is alive and strong enough for me to walk. Sometimes I say that I walk for my mother or that my father is enjoying walking with me. I walk for my father, I walk for my mother, I walk for my teacher, I walk for my students. Your father may not have known how to walk mindfully and enjoy every moment, so you can walk for him. This way you both benefit and experience healing. Life is filled with suffering, but is also filled with many wonders, such as a blue sky, the sunshine, the eyes of a baby. Life is not only suffering. We can learn to be in touch with the wonders of life. They are within us and all around us, everywhere, anytime. A cloud never dies. Look deeply to see your beloved in other forms. On a beautiful sunny day, you may look up into the sky and see a nice puffy cloud floating by. You admire its shape, the way the light falls upon its many folds and the shadow it casts on the green field. You fall in love with this cloud. You want it to stay with you and keep you happy. But then its shape and colors start to change. The sky becomes dark and it begins to rain. The cloud is no longer apparent to you. It has become rain. You begin to cry for the return of your beloved cloud. But when the cloud transforms itself into rain, you can look deeply into the rain and see that your cloud is still there, laughing and smiling at you. Nothing dies. Everything transforms. Before the cloud appeared in the sky, it existed in another form, as a mist, ocean, rain, or river. If we look deeply into the nature of a cloud, we can see that the cloud can't die. It can't pass from a state of being into a state of non-being. A cloud can become rain or snow or ice, but it can't become nothing. So if the sky is clear, it doesn't mean that your cloud has died. It continues on in other forms. How can our loved one die? Everything arises in dependence or everything else. There's no beginning or ending. There's no creation and no destruction of anything at all. This is true of the entire universe. Billions and billions of conditions have come together for us to manifest in this form. When different conditions arise, we will manifest in a different form. Do not get caught in the form. Do not get caught in signs. Learn to look with the eyes of signlessness and see your cloud in its new forms, in the rain, in the river, in your tea. If you have lost someone and you've cried so very much, please look deeply and recognize that the true nature of your beloved is a nature of no birth and no death, no coming and no going. We don't have to wait for the end of our suffering before we can feel happy again. We are allowed to feel happy now, but we may need to change our idea of happiness to recognize the happiness that is available to us right here and right now. Our idea of happiness may itself be the obstacle keeping us from true happiness. Lotus flowers need mud to grow. They cannot grow in marble. Without suffering, happiness is not possible. So if you know how to suffer, you don't suffer as much anymore. And out of our suffering, a lotus flower of happiness can grow. We can use our suffering to generate happiness, understanding, and love. When we embrace our suffering and look deeply into it, we can understand it better, and we can better understand the suffering of others. This comes with compassion and forgiveness. Understanding and love are foundations of happiness. By embracing our suffering, understanding it, and tending to it, love and compassion will be generated. So, we can see that happiness and suffering are two sides of the same coin. They enter. We cannot have one without the other. When we fall down, we have physical pain. When we are sad or anxious, we call it emotional pain. But mind and body are not separate, and suffering is not just an emotion. When we suffer a deep loss, especially if it was sudden and traumatic, the shock can lodge in our body. We hold our suffering in every muscle and in every cell. The practice of deep relaxation is a way to acknowledge and soothe the suffering in both body and mind. We take time there for ourselves to offer ourselves tenderness, love, and care. Deep relaxation begins with the observing the breath in the body. You can do this by sitting up or lying down, but lying down on the ground allows us to feel the different parts of our body more easily as we surrender ourselves to the gentle force of gravity and to the earth beneath us. At a time we may be feeling vulnerable, wounded, or numbed with shock, lying on the ground helps us connect with the earth's strength and solidity and her calming and healing energy. How to relax deeply. Lie comfortably on your back with your legs and arms outstretched. Become aware of the air moving in and out of your body. Feel your abdomen gently rising and falling. With each out-breath, allow yourself to relax a little more and let go of the tension you are holding. Become aware of all points of contact between your body and the ground. Now bring your awareness to your head. Feel the weight of your head and imagine it is sinking into the ground. Breathe out and relax. Bring your awareness to your eyes. Breathing in, I'm aware of my eyes. Breathing out, I smile to my eyes with gratitude and love. Feel the healing energy of gratitude arise in you that, no matter how poor your eyesight is, your eyes allow you to experience a multitude of colors and forms. The blue sky, the setting sun, the green trees, and the faces of those you love. Then bring your awareness down to your nose, your mouth, your throat, your shoulders, your back, and continue on down to your toes. You're doing a scan of your body, not with an x-ray, but with a ray of mindfulness. You go through your whole body, bringing your awareness to each part, and to each organ, relaxing it and sending it healing and loving energy. Breathing in, I am aware of my heart. Breathing out, I smile to my heart with love and compassion. I send my heart loving and healing energy, and so grateful I have a heart. My heart beats every day and night for me, keeping me alive. Even if my heart is aching or does not work as well as it once did, I am so grateful to have a heart. I apologize for the many ways I have mistreated you in the past and for the many times I haven't listened to you. I often forget I have a heart at all, and I take you for granted, but now I promise to take good care of you. Thank you for being there with me. Continuing through all the parts of your body in a similar way, smell every cell and let go of tension. Let your love and gratitude soothe and heal you. Afterwards, you will feel restored and at peace. Try to keep the soft and calming energy of mindfulness alive in you for as long as possible when you get up again. Make this a daily practice and experience gentle healing and transformation. Appreciate you too, Tony. It's crazy you say that, Sprite Drinker. I got this during the pandemic for a similar reason. I didn't read it at the time. touching the ultimate. Once, I was about to step on a dry leaf. I saw the leaf in the ultimate dimension of reality. I saw that it was not really dead, but it was merging with the moist soil and preparing to appear on the tree the following spring. I smiled at the leaf and said, "You are pretending." Everything is pretending to be born and pretending to die. When conditions are sufficient, the body reveals itself, and we say the body exists. When conditions are not sufficient, the body cannot be perceived by us, and we say the body no longer exists. However, the day of our so-called death is a day of our continuation in many other forms. If you know how to touch your loved one in the ultimate dimension, they will always be there with you and inside you. This is a deep practice. We can relieve our suffering when we lose someone. You and your beloved are never separate. When we look deeply into a flower, we can see that it's in fact made of many different elements. In fact, it is made exclusively of non-flower elements. The entire universe can be seen in a flower. We can see the sunshine that helped it grow, the rain, the soil, the seed, and even the gardener. If we took away any one of these elements, there would be no flower left. A flower does not exist on its own. It is inextricably interconnected with everything else. Like the flower, we too are only made of non-self elements. We are made of the rain, the sun, the earth, our parents, our society. If you remove any of these non-self elements, we would not exist. And like the flower, we are interconnected with all other beings and with the entire cosmos. You cannot be by yourself alone. You have to enter be with all else. Nothing exists on its own. All things enter are. Your loved ones will always be with you. If you establish yourself in the present moment and touch the present moment deeply, you can gain deep insight into who you are. If I am really in touch with myself, I discover that at the same time I am the sun, I am a cloud, I am the earth, a river, a mountain, a squirrel, a tree. Everything is in everything else. Could I even be here without the squirrel, without the mountain, without the cloud? If you took the mountain out of me, I would no longer be here. If you took the cloud out of me, I would not be here either, because I actually am all these things. The cloud, the squirrel, the deer, the mountain. I am my loved one. You cannot take my loved one out of me. This is the insight of interbeing that I can touch when I touch the present moment deeply. When you touch the one, you touch the all. If you can see yourself as a leaf, as a flower, as a beautiful cloud in the sky, you will easily understand that you have never been born. You have not come from nowhere, and you will never die. And you can never be without the ones you love. I have no idea, Tony. We're gonna find out, one page at a time. Relative and ultimate dimensions of reality. In what we call the historical dimension, we have birth certificates and death certificates. The day someone you love passes away, you suffer. If someone sits close to you and shows you concerned, you feel some relief. You have their friendship, their support, their warm hand to hold. This is the world of waves. It's characterized by birth and death, ups and downs, being and non-being. A wave has a beginning and an end, but we cannot ascribe these characteristics to water. In the world of water, there is no birth or death, no being or non-being, no beginning or end. When we touch the water, we touch reality in its ultimate dimension, and we are liberated from all of these concepts. Meditation is to live each moment of life deeply. Through meditation, we see that waves are made of water, and that the historical and ultimate dimensions of reality are one. Even while living in the world of waves, we touch the water. Knowing that a wave is nothing but water, we suffer if we only touch the waves. But if we learn how to stay in touch with the water, we feel a great relief. We come to the practice seeking relief in the historical dimension. We calm our body and mind and establish our stillness, our freshness, and our solidity. We practice loving kindness, concentration, and transforming our anger, and we feel some relief. But when we touch the ultimate dimension of reality, we get the deepest kind of relief. Each of us has the capacity to touch nirvana and be free from the ideas of birth and death, one in many, coming and going. Many spiritual traditions have a practice of prostrating or touching the earth to express respect and humility, to seek solace and to reconnect with ourselves and with the earth. Touching the earth may be considered by some devotional practice, but this is not necessarily so. To touch the earth is an act of deep surrender. We have to come from the earth, and we will go back to the earth. So when we prostrate or lie down and touch the earth, we surrender everything to her. We surrender ourselves and release our suffering and sorrow, and above all, release the notion that we are a separate self. The earth accepts and transforms whatever she receives without discrimination. In return, we benefit from the earth's wholesome and healing energy, allowing the balm of her compassion to penetrate our heart. We receive the earth's solidity, her powerfully regenerative, creative, and healing energy. We have all witnessed how the earth can take refuse, garbage, or compost and transform it into beautiful flowers. We know that we too have this capacity. The earth embraces us and helps us transform our suffering and despair. Wherever we are, whether in a meditation hall, at home in a quiet place, in front of our shrine or altar, or in a peaceful place outside of nature, we can lie down on the earth to receive her qualities of strength, stability, and forbearance. We can be in a prostrate position on our knees with our forehead on the floor, similar to a child's pose in yoga, with our arms outstretched in front of us. If you prefer, you can lie down on the earth outstretched. As we touch the earth, we gently follow our breathing and connect to our body, through our animal, plant, and mineral ancestors into the earth beneath us. We release all our sadness, fear, and worry. We release all the tension in our body and mind. We maintain an open and receptive attitude. We know the earth can absorb our we know the earth can absorb our suffering and negativity without reacting or judging us. In this way, we are able to transform those things within us which are painful and difficult. With this practice, we cultivate a relationship with ourselves and the earth. And in doing so, we restore our balance, our wholeness, and our peace. Touch the earth in silence and stay in that position for at least 3 long in and out breaths. The longer you remain in contact with the earth, the easier it is to let go of any tension, pain, or suffering and relax into a state of complete surrender and peace. When we say that humans go from ashes to ashes and dust to dust, it doesn't sound very joyful or comforting because none of us wants to come from or return to dust. But it is our mind of discrimination that thinks this way, because we don't know what dust really is. For scientists, a speck of dust is incredibly exciting. Every atom is a vast mystery. We still have not yet fully understood atoms, electrons, and nuclei. A particle of dust is immortal. We are in the habit of identifying ourselves with our bodies. The idea that we are this body is deeply entrenched in us, but your loved one is not just their body. They are much more than that. According to the 20th century French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, l'homme est la somme de ses actes. We are the sum of our actions. This is what karma means, action. Our thoughts, speech, and physical actions are our karma. We are the sum of our 3 actions. And not only do these 3 actions continue us into the future, but they have the effect on others in the world in every moment, even while we are alive. They are our true legacy. The idea that this body is me, I am this body, is a belief we must let go of. If we do not, we will suffer a great deal. We are life. Life is far vaster than this body, this concept, this mind. Most of us believe we will spend 70, 80, 90, or 100 years on this planet, and then we'll be gone. But when we look deeply, we see this as the wrong perception. Your lifespan is not limited to 70, 80, or 100 years, and that is good news. Your body is not yourself. You are much more than this body. You are life without boundaries. We are not limited to our physical body, even when we are alive. We enter with our ancestors, our descendants, and the whole of the cosmos. We do not have a separate self. We are interconnected with all of life, and we and everything are always in transformation. Life is made of death, and death is made of life. We have to accept death. It makes life possible. The cells in our body are dying every day, but we never think to organize funerals for them. The death of one cell allows for the birth of another. Life and death are two aspects of the same reality. This deep meditation brings forth non-fear, non-anger, and non-despair. In our mind, to die means something from you. Become nothing. Sorry, I read that wrong. Hopeful Goose, thank you for the subscription. In our mind, to die means from something, you become nothing. From someone, you become no one. If we look deeply, we could see that reality is not like this. The cloud has not come from nothing. It's come from the water and the rivers, the lakes, the ocean, and the heat, and the sunshine. Equally, we believe that to be born means from nothing we become something. From no one we suddenly become someone. You did not come from nowhere before you were born, and you cannot become nothing when you die. Like the cloud, your nature, and the nature of your loved one, is also the nature of no birth and no death. You can be with the death peacefully if you know how to touch your true nature of no birth and no death. A drop of rain falling on the ground disappears in no time at all. And yet somehow it is still there even if it is absorbed into the soil and no longer visible. If it evaporates, it is still in the air. It has become vapor. You no longer see the drop of water, but that doesn't mean it's not there. A cloud can become rain or snow or ice, but a cloud cannot become nothing. A cloud can never die. Our true nature. Those of us who lost a loved one know what grief is. But if you know how to look with eyes of signlessness, you are not trapped in the form of your loved one. You can overcome your grief and sorrow. You are capable of going beyond form and signs to understand that nothing is born and nothing dies. There is only transformation. Everything continues in a new form. You, too, are the same. Your nature is a nature of deathlessness. As soon as the notion of birth and death dies, real life is born. Passed away does not mean gone. I hope so, Pankiki. The 18th century French scientist Antoine Lavoisier famously declared, "Nothing is created, nothing is destroyed. Everything transforms. Matter can become energy and energy can be transformed into matter, but we cannot create or destroy either one." Similarly, our beloved has simply taken on another form. We can see our loved one in everything, in a cloud, in a child, in the breeze. Smiling, we can say, "Dear one, I know you were there, very close to me. I know that your nature is the nature of no birth and no death. I know that I have not lost you. You are always with me." If you look deeply, you will see your loved one in every moment of your daily life. Their true nature is a nature of not born and not dying, not arriving and not departing. Our thoughts, speech, and actions live on. The thoughts and feelings we send out into the world have a powerful effect. Every thought we produce, everything we think, say, and do is an action. These actions continue forever. They cannot disappear, but just like the cloud, they can transform. Alright, Bankiki, have a good night. So, when this body disintegrates, it's not the end. This body is only a very small part of you. What you produce every day in terms of thought, speech, and action is already out there and cannot be taken back and cannot be undone. You may not be able to see it, just as you don't see water vapor that will eventually form a cloud, but it's there. So, when you look at your body, you have to remember that this is only a very small part of you. The greater part of you is already out there. We don't need to wait for the complete disintegration of this body to begin to see ourselves. Sorry, I lost my page. To begin to see ourselves and others. Just as a cloud doesn't need to have abdomen entirely and transformed into rain in order to see that part of herself is already down on earth in the form of a river. Part of herself is still falling as a rain. Part of herself is still a cloud in the sky. The cloud smiles down to herself as the rain in the river and says, "Enjoy your journey. I will join you very soon." The fruits of our thoughts, speech, and actions are what continue us when this body disintegrates. They bear our signature. When our loved one's body disintegrates, this is what will continue them. Everything they have ever said, thought, or done has an impact on others and the world. This is what continues in many different manifestations. All your loved ones' deepest aspirations, their beliefs, their thoughts, words, and deeds will manifest in countless new and wonderful forms. That is where you can find them. Self-care, seeing your loved one alive in you and all around you. Bring to mind all the people your loved one knew and came into contact with during a lifetime. Their friends or family, children, parents, siblings, people they worked with, people they went to school with, and write a list down or draw a web diagram of their many relationships. Look deeply to see how your loved one is still alive in all of these people, as well as in yourself. If you can, speak to some of these people. Ask them to share stories. What do they remember most? What do they treasure about your loved one? This is nourishing and healing for both you and the other person. Whenever you miss your loved ones, speak to one of the people who knew them well. What ideas have you inherited from your loved one? You might bring to mind the work they did and projects they accomplished, their good deeds. Recall all the ways they have changed the world. No matter how big or small, it is often the small things that touch us the most deeply. Sometimes we know exactly how our loved one would feel about something. Whether they would like this food or drink, this book or film, this scenery, this person or activity. Keep an open dialogue going with your loved one. You can ask them if they like the taste of the food you're eating. Would they like to go here with you, or there with you? This is a way to keep the connection alive with your loved one. You can also ask them their opinion about important decisions. You may be surprised to find they will give you good advice. What are the most memorable things that your loved one ever said to you? What are some of the kindest, most generous, most courageous, and most adventurous things your loved one ever did? Sometimes we cannot transform our grief because we believe our loved ones suffered terribly during their lifetime. This may be true, but that's not the whole truth. There were times when your loved one didn't suffer, when they were happy and healthy and enjoying life. We need to have a more balanced view. Try to recall the happy moments, the joyful moments, all the times you saw your loved one laugh and be happy. The more you reflect on this, the more happy moments will come to mind. This can bring us great relief. When you have a moment alone, you might like to use that time to come home to yourself and touch the wonders of life. Instead of allowing yourself to be caught up in the past or the future, or carried away by distractions or strong emotions in the present, pay attention to your breath and come home to the present moment. We breathe in and out all day, but we are not aware that we are breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, I know that I am alive. Breathing out, I smile to life. This is a very simple practice. If we go home to our in-breath and out-breath and breathe mindfully, we become fully alive in the here and now. In our daily lives, our bodies are present, but our minds might be elsewhere, caught in our worries and our anxieties. Life is only available in the present moment. The past is already gone. The future is not here yet. When we establish ourselves in the present moment, we are able to live our life deeply and get in touch with the healing, refreshing, and nourishing elements that are always within us and around us. Every second of life is filled with precious jewels. Those jewels are our awareness and our breath, our body, our feelings, the earth, the sky, the trees, the river, the ocean, the birds, and all other animals. All the miracles inside us and around us. Gratitude for life. The seed of suffering in you may be strong right now, but don't wait until you have no more suffering to allow yourself to feel happy. You don't have to wait 10 years to experience happiness. It is present in every moment of your daily life. We just need to recognize the conditions for happiness that are available right now. There are those of us who are alive but don't appreciate being alive. When you breathe in, you are aware of your in-breath and touch the miracle of being alive. Being alive is a true source of joy and happiness. The conditions for our happiness are already sufficient. We only need to allow ourselves to be fully alive in the present moment, and we will be able to touch them. Mindfulness is a lamp we light up that lets us recognize that we have many conditions for happiness, even in the midst of suffering. Sunflowers in April. In summer, the hills around Plum Village are covered with hundreds of thousands of sunflowers. But if you come in the month of April, the hills are bare. Yet, when the farmers walk to the fields, they can already see the sunflowers. They know that the soil has been prepared, the seeds have been planted, the rains are good, and every condition is sufficient but one. The one condition that's missing is time. With time, the heat of the summer months will allow the sunflowers to grow tall and blossom. Sunflowers depend on many conditions in order to manifest, not just one, and are all equally important. In the sunflowers, we see the earth, the minerals, the farmer, we see time and space. When all necessary conditions come together, the sunflowers will manifest. When the conditions are not sufficient, the sunflowers will hide. Who can say that your loved one has passed away? When you touch your loved one in the ultimate dimension, you can see that they are still with you. The same is true of a flower. A flower may pretend to be born, but has always been there in other forms. In the soil, the rain, the sunshine. There the flower may pretend to die, but it is playing a game of hide and seek. The flower reveals itself to us and then hides itself again. If we are attentive, we can see it any time we want. We need to recognize the interbeing nature of all that is. In the light of interbeing, life and death are not separate. They inter-are. We cannot have one without the other. Like happiness and suffering, darkness and light. They lean on each other. They contain each other. Relive for those who have died. When a natural disaster occurs, in times of war and genocide, when atrocities are committed and hundreds of thousands of people die, people everywhere suffer, including people on the other side of the world. All of us suffer when so many people die, not just those who are directly involved. We may ask ourselves how God could allow such terrible things to happen. Why do babies, children, so many people have to die? Why them and not us? We ask so many questions, but do not have the answers. We just suffer. I also suffer with you, but I sit down and practice looking deeply. I see that when others die, we too die, because we are deeply interconnected. When the one you love dies, somehow you die with them, seeing that they are no longer able to live. We have to live for them. We have to live in such a way that a future is possible for our children and their children. The way we choose to live our life after they have gone can give their death meaning. This is the inside of interbeing. Everything is in everything else. They are us and we are them. When they die, a part of us dies too. When we continue to live, they continue to live with us. With this insight, we do not suffer anymore. We know how to continue them in us, and how to carry them into the future with us, and how to create a bright future for them. With this insight, we experience peace. We send light out all around us. We are like candles. We send light out to all around us, radiating in all directions. All our thoughts, words, and actions are our light. If we say something kind, our kind words will go out in many directions, and we go along with them. Your loved ones, kind thoughts, and kind deeds also travel in many directions, never ending. We are transforming and being continued in different forms every moment. Our thoughts, words, and deeds are our legacy. They live on long after we are no longer there. Thank you, G. Nothing is lost. Have you ever played with a kaleidoscope? When you look into a kaleidoscope, you see a beautiful image of many colors. Just a small movement is enough to make something miraculous appear. A tableau of colors and forms reveals itself, an amazing manifestation. You marvel at this breathtaking image for a second or two, then you turn the kaleidoscope and another equally stunning manifestation appears. Should we cry every time one of these manifestations comes to an end? There is no need to feel regret when we lose one of these beautiful images, because now there is a new image to delight in. In our current form, we are a beautiful manifestation that Mother Earth has helped to create. When this manifestation is over, we will manifest in another way. Being a cloud may be wonderful, but being rain falling to earth is also wonderful. Things manifest, then disappear, and manifest again in another form. thousands upon thousands of times. If you look deeply, you will see this reality. We manifest, then disappear. Nothing is lost, nothing is born, and nothing dies. It's a game of hide and seek. There is no creation, only manifestation. There is no death, only transformation. Next G. You cannot kill anyone. Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, John F. Kennedy were all killed by people who suffered enormously, by people who believed they could kill these great leaders and everything they represented. But what they didn't realize is that you cannot kill anyone. You cannot kill Martin Luther King or Gandhi. After their deaths, they became bigger, stronger, and more alive than before. You cannot die, and you cannot kill anyone. Martin Luther King and Gandhi are still very much alive in every one of us. The water and the wave. We should be able to touch both dimensions of life. The historical and the ultimate. The wave exists in a historical dimension where there is birth and death, up and down, inside and outside, whereas the water belongs to the ultimate dimension, or nirvana. The ultimate dimension, there is no more birth and no death, beginning or ending. We are usually just in touch with the wave, and when we discover how to touch the water, we receive the highest fruit that meditation can offer. When the wave looks back on itself and realizes that it is both wave and the water, it is no longer afraid of dying. It sees how the wave is born, how it swells, breaks, and dies. But it also sees that the contents of the wave are to be found in all of the other waves. The ground of its being, the ground of all the waves, is water. With its insight, it touches the ultimate dimension and is free of all birth and death. Practice like a wave. Take the time to look deeply into yourself and recognize that your true nature is a nature of no birth and no death. With this understanding, you can break through the freedom and fearlessness. If you carry deep grief within yourself, if you have lost a loved one, if you're inhabited by the fear of death, oblivion, or annihilation, please take up this teaching and begin to practice it, reminding yourself that while you are living the life of a wave, you are also the water. Touching the water, understanding the deepest truth of no birth and no death, we can touch peace. The wave can live her life as a wave, and at the same time, she can live the life of water. She does not have to die in order to become water, because the wave is water already in the present moment. Nirvana means the extinction of all notions and concepts, including the concepts of birth and death, being and non-being, coming and going, but it does not mean the extinction of life. Nirvana is the ultimate dimension of life, a state of coolness, peace, and joy. It is not the state to be attained after you die. You can touch Nirvana right now by breathing, walking, and drinking your tea in mindfulness. Everything and everyone are dwelling in Nirvana. You have been Nirvanalized, very since the beginning of time, the non-beginning of time. If we can live our daily life deeply, we'll be able to touch Nirvana right in the here and now. No coming, no going, no after, no before. I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free, because I am in you, and you are in me. The next section of the book is called Connecting with Life. Nature is always there for us. We can learn a lot from the Earth's healing qualities. The Earth is steadfast. She embodies perseverance, equanimity, and forbearance in the face of a challenge. We too have these qualities. The Earth is right here inside us and all around us. She supports us in very concrete, intangible ways. She gives birth to us and sustains us with precious gifts of air, water, earth, and fire. When we suffer, the Earth embraces us, helping us to restore our energy and regain our strength. When we understand our deep connection to the Earth, we will have enough love and strength to continue. When we suffer, we need love and understanding. Yet we often hope that someone else will give us all the love, compassion, and understanding that we long for. We don't realize that we can cultivate this for ourselves. Nature can help us cultivate this love and compassion. Nature is generous and abundant. She is always there for us. She provides everything we need. The dandelion is smiling for you. At the end of a retreat in California, a friend wrote this poem. I have lost my smile, but don't worry, the dandelion has it. If you've lost your smile and yet are still capable of seeing that a dandelion is keeping it for you, there is hope. You still have enough mindfulness to see that your smile is there somewhere. The dandelion is a member of your community of friends. It is there quietly and faithfully keeping your smile for you until you can smile again. In fact, everything around you is keeping your smile for you. You don't need to feel lonely or isolated. You only need to open yourself to the support that is all around you and inside you. Seeing the good in our loved one. When we practice the art of mindful living, we water the positive elements in ourselves and each other. We see that our beloved, like us, has both flowers and garbage inside, and we accept this. Our practice is to water the flower in our loved one, not bring them more garbage. When we try to grow flowers, if they don't grow well, we don't blame them or argue with them. The memory of our loved one is a flower. If we take care of her well, she will grow beautifully. If we take care of her poorly, she will wither. To help a flower grow well, we must understand her nature. When we have lost someone we love, we often feel a need to express our deep love and gratitude to them. We want to offer them something, and we want to keep their memory alive. Making a shrine or altar for a loved one at home is a concrete way of expressing our love and care, and of helping us feel connected to them. We can set up a small table and place a photograph of our loved one, a candle, some flowers, and other meaningful things on it. We may like to include items representing our spiritual tradition if we have one, or things collected in nature, perhaps a stone, a leaf, a shell, or a flower. You may also like to place something on the altar that has special meaning to your loved one. To help us feel connected and maintain communication, we can write to our loved one, a note, a love letter, an appreciation or an apology, and put it on the altar. Some people like to light a candle or offer incense, flowers for their loved one's favorite food. On special days such as ceremonial days during the initial period of mourning, on your loved one's birthday or the anniversary of their death, we can prepare our loved one's favorite dishes or treats and place them on the altar. After the ceremony, everyone can enjoy eating them together, creating a feeling of intimacy and joy. Placing objects on an altar doesn't mean we're worshiping these things. Creating and maintaining a home altar is a way to pay respect and express love and gratitude to our loved ones, our ancestors, and the world around us. It helps us remember that whatever we love, respect, and care deeply about is also within us. Keep the altar fresh and beautiful, cleaning it and tending to it every day with mindfulness, love, and concentration. This helps us maintain our connection to our loved one. We can speak to them and tell them everything that is going on for us. We can announce all the news to our loved one and to all our ancestors at the same time. We may like to tell our loved one that whatever they may not have finished or healed in their lifetime, we are doing our best to accomplish for them. This is the way to establish deep, ongoing connections with our loved one and with the stream of life which we are a part. You will not suffer forever. We see that all mental formations, such as compassion, joy, love, fear, sorrow, and despair, are organic in nature. When any of these seeds are watered in us, they manifest in our mind consciousness as mental formations. We don't need to be afraid of a difficult or uncomfortable emotion because by embracing it with mindfulness, transformation is always possible. When a feeling of sadness comes up, we breathe and say to ourselves, breathing in, I know there is a feeling of sadness in me. Breathing out, I embrace this feeling of sadness and let it calm down. We know that everything is impermanent, including our feelings and emotions. They come, they stay for a while, and then they go. We just notice the name and the difficult emotions as they arise, and they will calm down and begin to transform on their own. This is the power of mere recognition. We simply recognize our thoughts and feelings as they arise. By having this deep insight into the organic nature of mental formations, we become a lot calmer, more stable, and peaceful. We know that this too will pass. Our pain will eventually subside, and with just a smile and mindful breathing, we begin to transform our suffering. We don't walk alone. When we walk, we're not walking alone. Our parents and ancestors are always walking with us. They're present in every cell of our body, so each step that brings us peace, healing, and happiness also brings peace, healing, and happiness to our parents and ancestors. We have the power to transform the past. Every mindful step has the power to transform us and all our ancestors within us, including spiritual ancestors and our animal, plant, and mineral ancestors. We don't walk for ourselves alone. When we walk for our family, for our loved ones, and for the whole world. 4 years after my mother passed away, I had a dream in which I saw my mother, young, vivid, joyful, and beautiful, with long black hair. Waking up at midnight, I went out to the moonlit garden. I experienced her presence as I walked on the hillside behind the temple. Each time my foot touched the ground, I felt her presence. I knew my body was not mine, alone, but a lone continuation of my mother and my father, my grandparents, and my ancestors. I discovered that my mother had never died. Together, we were leaving footprints in the damp soil. When we practice mindfulness, we touch freedom. Freedom from remorse and regrets. Freedom from anguish and fear. Freedom is the basis of happiness. Without freedom, there can be no true happiness. Every step you make, every breath you take, every minute of sitting or walking meditation, every action you take in mindfulness can bring you more peace, joy, solidity, and freedom. Healing the suffering of suicidal thoughts. There are teenagers and adults who don't know how to deal with their enormous suffering. They may think that the only way to get relief is to end their lives. Every day, all over the world, so many people of all ages unalive themselves because they don't know how to handle their strong emotions. We need to master the art of suffering ourselves so that we can teach others this art, the art of transforming difficult emotions. We need to bring the practice of mindfulness into the classrooms, into the workplace, and into our families. The practice of mindfulness, of stopping and looking deeply and embracing our difficult feelings, is very important. It can save lives. Your loved one lives on, and everyone who knew them. We are our children, and our children are us. If you have children, you've already been reborn in them. You can see your continuation body in your children very easily, but you have many more continuation bodies as well. Everything your loved one has ever thought, said, or done is already being continued in those who know them. Everyone they have ever touched carries their continuous body. You cannot know how many people their words, thoughts, or actions have touched. Our true legacy. Our actions of body, speech, and mind are our true legacy. This insight can liberate us from our fear of being abandoned, of getting sick and dying. We often try to forget that one day we too must die, and we'll have to let go of everything we love. We cannot ignore this reality. We need to recognize our seed of fear and keep our awareness of impermanence alive every day. You face the truth. You bring up the seed of fear within you and you face it. You embrace it with your mindfulness and realize that the only thing that remains after you die are the consequences of your actions of body, speech, and mind. These are your true inheritance. In my tradition, there are 5 remembrances we contemplate daily to remind ourselves of impermanence. The 5 remembrances. I am the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. I inherit the results of my actions, body, speech, and mind. My actions are my continuation. self-care, commemorating your loved one. At a time we may need strength, we can borrow from the strength of others. We can call on family and friends, but we can also call on our ancestors, spiritual teachers, and great beings to stand by us at this difficult time. We do not need to wait until our loved one has died. As soon as we hear the news of a serious illness, we can meditate and send our energy of love, gratitude, and peace to that person. This kind of energy is healing and transformative. If a number of close friends and family members or a group of fellow meditators can meditate with us, we can generate a powerful collective energy of mindfulness. This energy of prayer transcends time and space and can help not only who we are worried, but also the person who is ill or dying to feel more at peace. We are like fireworks. When fireworks explode in the night sky, sparks shoot out like flowers in all directions. You are like fireworks. You do not continue in a straight line, you radiate in all directions, and to your children, your friends, your society, and the whole world. When I share a teaching, it contains my understanding of reality and my insights born of experience. I am not going in a linear direction either. I'm going out into you, and I am being reborn in different forms in you and in all the people who come into contact with this teaching. We do not need to wait until our body disintegrates to go on a journey of rebirth. At this very moment, we are being reborn in a multitude of different places and forms. I am not here. I have a disciple in Vietnam who wants to build a stupa for my ashes when I die. He and others want to include a plaque with the words, "Here lies my beloved teacher." I told him not to waste a temple land. Do not put me in a small pot and put me in there, I said. I don't want to continue like that. It would be better to scatter the ashes outside and help the trees to grow. I suggested that if they still insisted on building a stupa, they have a plaque say, "I am not in here." But in case people don't get it, they could add a second plaque, "I am not out there either." If people still don't understand that you can write a third and last plaque, "I may be found in your way of breathing and walking." This body of mine will disintegrate, but my actions will continue me. In my daily life, I always practice to see continuation all around me. We don't need to wait until the total dissolution of this body to continue. We continue in every moment. If you think that I am only this body, then you have truly not seen me. When you look at my friends, you see my continuation. When you see someone walking with mindfulness and compassion, you know they are my continuation. I don't understand why people say they're going to die, because I can already see myself in you and other people and in future generations. I will never die. Every time I see one of my students walking in mindfulness, I see my continuation. There will be a dissolution of this body, but that does not mean my death. I will continue. Always. Grief and compassion, the art of suffering. We can learn a lot from our suffering. We can even speak of the art of suffering. When we know how to suffer, we suffer much less. We know that understanding our suffering gives rise to compassion, not only for ourselves, but also for others. And we know that compassion is essential for joy and happiness to be possible. We can learn to make good use of our suffering in order to grow our peace and happiness. Many of us wonder what will happen to us when we die. Some of us think that after the dissolution of the body, we rise up to heaven or float up to the clouds. Many believe we go to a distant paradise after we die, which we imagine to be a wonderful place without suffering. But if heaven were a place with no suffering, I wouldn't want my children to go there. I wouldn't want to be in a world without any suffering, because then there would be no compassion or understanding either. If you haven't suffered hunger, you can't appreciate having something to eat. If you haven't gone through war, you don't know the value of peace. We need to understand the goodness of suffering. It is the compost that helps roses grow. It is the mud from which magnificent lotuses emerge. Coming back to life. We have a lamp inside us, the lamp of mindfulness, which we can light anytime. The oil of that lamp is our breathing, our steps, and our peaceful smile. We have to light up the lamp of mindfulness so that the light will shine out and all around and dissipate the darkness. Let's keep the lamp lit. Whatever we do, we can do it in mindfulness, bringing our mind back to our body in the present moment. The present moment is our true refuge, our true home, the place where we can be fully alive. The past is already gone, and the future is not here yet. The present moment is the only moment we have to live. Let's do our best to enjoy it and not miss out on life. And that's the entire book. What do you guys think? You're welcome. And it was really hard not to laugh a couple times there when some of your comments came through. Tito, I just wanted to say, what would Goku think of what you're saying right now? I wanted to say that earlier, but I really was trying to make sure that I said it all in one go, especially for the VOD. So I didn't want to like, you know, interrupt the whole thing. That's why I changed the notifications and stuff as well. It hurt as much as the first time. It hurt me a couple times, Fried Drinker, but it also healed me a lot. I feel like I needed to read that. There's a reason why it stuck out to me on the shelf right now. I feel like it was really important. It's okay, Noob. The whole VOD will be there. It'll be an entire book. I read the whole book front to back in an hour and 51 minutes. I can't believe I just read nonstop out loud for an hour and 51 minutes to like 13 people. But it was worth it for me, because that actually technically counts as the first book I've read in at least like 10 years or so. What I'm gonna do, for the sake of VOD, is end the stream and reboot it. I saw that, Double H, yeah. I'm gonna end the stream and reboot it with a game that I'm gonna play. But I just wanna like separate this, that way I can upload the VOD separate and it ends here, as opposed to like going right into a video game. Because how hilarious would that be? Like, alright guys, now we're gonna play Doom. No. That's not what we're playing, by the way, either. I have a plan. But just give me a moment to get ready, and I will be right back in like, maybe like 10 minutes or so. I'm gonna get something to drink. I don't think I'm gonna do any more Smash tonight, Moon. But yeah, just give me a minute. I'll be back. What is this? It's saying, it's on my screen, it says 13 viewers are watching. You may get 1 new subscriber if you start a sub-only live now. So, no, I'm ending the stream.